Greet, my name is HarmNone, and today I will be revisiting the businesses of Grand Theft Auto Online for a glorious second time. Now, I have previously ranked all of the businesses in the game, however, a lot has changed, especially with the addition of the Criminal Enterprises DLC, as well as with the release of the expanded and enhanced edition. Now, since I released my video ranking all of the businesses in Grand Theft Auto Online, some very original videos have also been made with very original thumbnails. Now, I have made a lot of revisions to my list, removed places that are not businesses, and generally improved my ranking for this video. So today, here I am yet again to put the businesses in their place on the great HarmNone certified tier list. Now, before we get into this list, there is something that you must know. This list is 100% factual and cannot be argued with. You have been warned, and if you cannot abide by this law, exit the video immediately. And with that being said, let's get started with F tier. And of course, to start off, the worst business in all of Grand Theft Auto Online is still air freight cargo, because Rockstar has not released anything worse than air freight cargo somehow, so that's great. Now, obviously, to run air freight cargo, you will need a hangar, and this is the business that the hangar is going to push you to try to operate. Now, as you guys can see, there are a lot of empty shelves here where air freight cargo could be if I ran this business, which of course I don't because it's terrible. Now, I have had a lot of people comment on my videos saying that air freight cargo is actually their favorite business, and they love doing air freight cargo missions because the missions are so fun and so diverse. Okay, fair enough. The missions might actually be fun the first 4 times you do them, but after that, and if you're actually trying to make money, air freight cargo is quite literally the worst business in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, another misconception is that air freight cargo is needed in order to run the nightclub basement, and this is not true. You can do this with a CEO cargo warehouse as well. So checkmate, air freight cargo tards. You don't actually need the business. Now, these missions typically will take you 15 minutes to half an hour to complete, and they'll pay you a whopping $50,000 for 15 to 30 minutes. You don't even get paid when you complete the mission. You just get a crate that's worth 50 grand. And then you have to do a sale mission. And guess what? Yeah, the sale mission takes half an hour too. Yeah, that's right. Now, in order to coax air freight cargo tards into doing air freight cargo, they offered a trade price for a lot of the different planes that were added with the Smuggler's Run DLC. Now, you can see the P-45 Nakota here. Obviously, you can buy it for $2.6 million, but of course there's the trade price. In order to unlock the trade price, you need to complete 39 air freight cargo steal missions. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, at 15 minutes to half an hour to complete each of them, that's a lot. Let's just do some math. 39 times 15. So at the very least, this is going to take you 585. Now, if we divide 585 by 60, it's going to take you almost 10 hours to complete those missions. Now, in between the source missions, there's also a cooldown. So that 9.75 hours realistically is going to be a lot longer. And if these missions take you as long as 30 minutes, which trust me, air freight cargo missions can take you that long. 30 times 39 is 1,170. We divide that by 60, that's 19 and a half hours. For comparison, in 19 and a half hours, instead of doing the air freight cargo missions to save yourself $658,000, you could very easily make yourself several $1,000,000, which will offset the trade price, and you can just buy it now and you'll still come out with more money than you would if you did the trade price and sold all 39 of your air freight cargo shipments. So air freight cargo is pretty much a scam. That's what I'm telling you. None of these vehicles are worth doing the air freight steal missions in order to get the trade price. You're literally better off to go out and grind the extra money, and you'll still come out with more money in less time than if you actually did the air freight cargo missions. They are not worth your time at all. And I would not only heavily advise you to not do air freight cargo missions, I beg you, please do not waste your time with these. If you want to give them a try for some aerial fun, be my guest, but please do not actually grind air freight cargo as a business. You are wasting your time, and you can do so much better for yourself. So that's it for air freight cargo. The worst business in all of Grand Theft Auto Online by far. I was actually tempted to not even rank anything else in F tier, but there are some other businesses that are definitely F tier material. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the next F tier business. And the next business on the F tier chopping block is of course Document forgery. Now, document forgery is, well, it's the worst of the MC businesses by a long shot in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. This thing is absolutely terrible. So we're gonna go ahead and log into the document forgery computer here, and as you guys can see, I've made $8 million off of 47 sales. Now, in order to resupply this thing, it's gonna cost you $75,000 to buy the full supplies, and if I sell the stock, you can see that I'm going to make $199,000 off of the stock level that it's at right now. Now, I have not actually used this business since the Criminal Enterprises DLC came out, so I actually still have the bonus for the sale mission, which means you make double money on your sale. So, if it was not double money, right now, my stock would be worth $100,000 roughly, which is pretty terrible considering that it's almost completely full. Now, if you do the math, it's going to take 2 resupplies in order to make the stock from 0 all the way to 100. 2 things of resupplies cost $150,000, and if my bar is over the halfway point and it's only at $100,000, I think you can see where this is going. You literally cannot make a profit with the document forgery office off of buying supplies and selling the stock unless you're in a public session and you launch your sale when there's a bunch of players in the lobby and you get the high demand bonus, which is completely not worth it because it's an MC business sale mission and they're all terrible. So document forgery is really very bad. Now, people have told me that it's worth it to own the document forgery business for the nightclub basement, and I completely disagree with this, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But anyways, that's it for document forgery. I've somehow grinded out $8 million with this thing, but I've realized the entire time that it is a complete waste of my time. So, for that reason, I stopped before the Criminal Enterprises DLC came out. So, avoid the document forgery office at all costs. This thing is not going to make you any sort of profit if you're buying supplies, which of course you should be. So, that's it for document forgery. We have one more business in F tier. Let's move over there. And the final business in F tier is, of course, the MC Clubhouse. Now, the MC Clubhouse is actually better than it's ever been, but it's still, well, not that great. Now, the MC Clubhouse does do a few really good things for you. It gives you the ability to operate as a motorcycle club, which is very, very good. Now, with the addition of the Criminal Enterprises DLC into Grand Theft Auto Online, they've also given you the ability to get customer bikes into your MC Clubhouse, which you can then customize and bring to your customer for a little bit of a profit. On top of that, you're going to need to own the MC Clubhouse in order to buy any of the MC businesses through the main computer in the office. And of course, in addition to this, you'll also get access to the MC mission board, which allows you to launch these little contracts, which are kind of easy to complete, and you can make a little bit of money with them. They're overall pretty decent. Now, of course, you can also resupply the bar. This is part of the Criminal Enterprises DLC. You can launch these resupply missions and earn passive income for your bar in your MC Clubhouse every single day in Grand Theft Auto Online, similar to the nightclub, the arcade, and the agency, except this makes you a little bit less money, so it's not exactly super worth it. So that's pretty much it for the MC Clubhouse, and with that being said, that is also it for F tier. Now it's time to move on to C tier and get into some of the businesses that are actually maybe worth your time in Grand Theft Auto Online. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first business that I have selected of C tier is, of course, vehicle cargo. Now, vehicle cargo has narrowly escaped the depths of F tier because it's a pretty terrible business. It's really not that great. Now, vehicle cargo is an interesting one because it relies on you sourcing a bunch of different cars and then selling them. Now, the interesting thing about vehicle cargo is there is a really efficient way of actually running it. As you guys can see, I've collected 2 cars here. One of them is standard range, one of them is mid-range. Now, there's also high range and I believe low range as well. Now, the thing to do with vehicle cargo is to source all of the bad vehicles and only sell your high-end vehicles to make the most amount of profit, because with the lower-end vehicles, you'll get less money for actually delivering them. However, you're gonna have to source up to 40 cars in order to actually get all of the high-end ones, and then you're just gonna sell the high-end ones and then keep sourcing them and then sell them and rinse and repeat that until you make all your money. However, the problem with this is the vehicle cargo warehouse is quite an expensive business, and you only make about $100,000 per high-end vehicle that you actually sell through this business. And of course, in order to own the vehicle cargo warehouse, you're also going to need a CEO office. And you're going to have to come here every single time that you actually want to source a vehicle cargo mission. So, it's going to take you quite some time to actually fill your warehouse, and the money that you're going to make from it is really not that worth it because, like I said, the cars only sell for about $100,000. And in order to get vehicle cargo set up, it's going to cost you a lot of money. For example, the vehicle cargo warehouses go for just over $2 million a lot of the time, or very close to $2 million. So vehicle cargo honestly is not my favorite business in Grand Theft Auto Online, and I don't really think it's super worth it. As you guys can see, I've got 2 vehicles in my warehouse and my current value is only $40,000. So my advice to you guys is don't run vehicle cargo if you can avoid it, which I think you can. I would do pretty much any other business in the entire game. Like I said, this is almost in F tier, but I just couldn't quite put it down with the rest of those businesses because they are truly quite awful. Vehicle cargo is pretty awful, but it's not the worst. But of course, it is time to move on to the next business. And for the next business of C tier, and also the final business of C tier, we of course have the weed farm. Now, of course, the weed farm is one of the cooler MC businesses. I like the interior of this place a lot. I think that it actually looks really cool. And with this MC business, you can actually make a profit, believe it or not. So that's a pretty revolutionary idea, especially when you compare it to the document forgery office. Now with my weed business, it's also on double money for the sale mission, because I've yet to sell it since the Criminal Enterprises DLC has come out. So typically you won't make quite this much money. You'll only make about $315,000 for a full sale. But if you compare that to supplying the business twice for 75 grand a pop, 150,000 to make 315,000, you're making over double the money you put into it. And the sale missions with the weed business are a little bit easier than some of the other MC sale missions because they have some unique ones. Now there's one where you'll just drive one singular truck, there's another one where you'll just drive one singular van. Of course you can get the awful missions like the delivery vans still, but it's a little bit rarer because there are just a few more sale missions that you can actually get with this business. So weed is a pretty good business. It's not the best, but it's far from the worst. It almost made it into B tier, but B tier has a lot of businesses, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with B tier. To start off B tier, we of course have the auto shop. Now the auto shop is home to some of the most annoying characters in Grand Theft Auto Online, and also some of the most useless characters in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, namely the auto shop staff members. Now the auto shop has several different ways that you can earn money. The first is customizing and delivering the customer vehicles. Now you can customize these yourself no matter what, then you can choose to deliver them yourself, or of course you can get your staff members to. The staff members' favorite thing is to crash your vehicles and lose you every single amount of profit that you would have made on the vehicle had they not crashed. So customizing the vehicles, you should always deliver them yourself because the staff members are completely useless, and I would just avoid buying the staff in general. Then of course, like I said, the most annoying characters in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, we have Sasanta, as you guys can see, and KDJ is somewhere around here, but I honestly can't be bothered to find him, and neither should you. Of course, we also have the auto shop contracts. These pay a semi-decent amount of money, and they act as sort of a mini heist. You can earn a little bit of money with these, and they're not that hard. They're kind of fun, and they keep things interesting, that's for sure, so I can't negatively talk about them whatsoever. And on double money, they are really good to actually grind. Of course, another thing that you get with the auto shop is the exotic exports list. These are vehicles that you can find while roaming around in Grand Theft Auto Online, and you can take them to the dock and sell them for $20,000 each. So the auto shop is an interesting business. Obviously, you also get some storage for some of your cars. So there you have it. That's it for the auto shop to start off B tier. It's a pretty good business, and it's definitely one that I would recommend actually trying. So let's move on to the next one. And next up, we have the arcade. Now the arcade is a pretty good business, and it's a pretty important one to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now the arcade, once you have all the machines maxed out in this thing, will earn you $5,000 every in-game day passively into a safe located within the office. Now the arcade machines, you will have to buy one other arcade machine, and then you can completely max this place out, and you'll be making straight profit with it. The safe also maxes at $100,000, so you can forget about it for several in-game days and then come check it and find yourself 100 grand like I'm doing right now. So it's a pretty nice business for that reason. In addition to this, you can also sit down at this computer, and there's a very important thing that you can add to this business through the upgrade menu within the laptop. The upgrade that I'm of course talking about is the Master Control Terminal. Now this is located in your arcade basement along with your garage and the ability to launch the casino heist. So The arcade is pretty good for a lot of different reasons when it comes to making money, and I'm going to show you guys the master control terminal now. Now this is one of the most important investments you can make in the entire game. In fact, this is what I made my first video on YouTube about. Now within the master control terminal, you can manage your stock for every single business in Grand Theft Auto Online. So all of the MC businesses, your nightclub popularity, as well as your nightclub basement, your bunker stock, and your research. You can source vehicle cargo, you can source special cargo, and God forbid if you do it, but you can of course source air freight cargo. So you can simply source special cargo from here, or you can also do it from your CEO office, whatever you're closest to. This can save you quite a lot of time when it comes to actually gaining CEO cargo in your cargo warehouse. It's also nice to be able to resupply all of your MC businesses from one location instead of having to drive to all of them to purchase supplies. You simply go to your master control terminal, purchase the supplies, and when the businesses are ready to sell, you drive over to them and you do the sale mission. Now, whatever you do, do not launch your sale mission from the arcade because you're still going to have to drive all the way over there in order to actually do your sale mission and get in your vehicles. The master control terminal is a super great thing to have though. Obviously, you can manage all your businesses from one location, and I think that that is pretty much peak efficiency, so that's very nice. Now, like I said, you can also launch the Diamond Casino heist from here. This is not technically a business, this is just a heist, but it is part of the arcade, which is of course a business, so I am showing you this right now. So that's it for the arcade. Let's move on to the next business of B tier. And next up we have the Counterfeit Cash Factory. Now the Counterfeit Cash Factory is the third most profitable MC business in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now I've made almost $32 million with my Counterfeit Cash Factory, and you can make a lot of money with this business. As you guys can see, when I go to my sell stock tab, it's about halfway full because I've done one resupply in order to get it here, and it's worth $350,000. Now this is doubled right now because again, I have not done a sale mission with this business since the Criminal Enterprises DLC has come out. But of course, if we double this number, which is $700,000, and then we half it, that's still $350,000 that you can make for selling this when it is full, off of only $150,000 worth of supplies. So you're making $200,000 profit on your sale with your Counterfeit Cash Factory. Now Counterfeit Cash does not take that long in order to make all of those supplies into stock, and then of course you can make your little $200,000 profit very, very easily, so long as you get a good sale mission. Counterfeit Cash is a great business to have, and it's definitely the third best MC business, and I do feel like it is definitely deserving of B tier because it's just a little bit more efficient than the weed farm. So that's pretty much it for Counterfeit Cash. Let's move on to the final business of B tier. And of course, the final business of B tier is CEO Cargo. Now, CEO Cargo has got a massive update with the Criminal Enterprises DLC in Grand Theft Auto Online. Not only can you source cargo from the Master Control Terminal or from your CEO office, but in each of your CEO Cargo warehouses, you will now have a staff member. As you guys can see, I can talk to this lady right here, and you have a bunch of other staff members in all of your other warehouses, and you can source special cargo for $7,500 now. Now, when you do this, 48 minutes afterwards, you will get a random chance of having 1 to 3 new CEO cargo crates show up in your warehouse. You will get a notification for this in the bottom left of your screen when the sourcing is complete. And for only $7,500, having a chance of getting 3 pieces of cargo is a pretty good profit margin. Now, this is a huge change to CEO cargo because you can make so much more money with it a lot easier. What I do on my expanded and enhanced edition character is go to all of my warehouses every 48 minutes, start sourcing cargo, then get into grinding some other businesses, and then just come back again once the cargo has entered my warehouse. Now, obviously the best thing to do with CEO cargo is fill up your warehouses and then wait for CEO cargo to go on double money, which I think should be happening pretty soon. Now, while cargo is being accrued into your warehouse passively by your workers, you can also be sourcing cargo through your CEO office or your master control terminal and getting your warehouses filled up very, very quickly. Now, at this point, I figured I would include the CEO office as well as talk about CEO cargo because the CEO office has got quite an update since the Criminal Enterprises DLC has come out itself. Within your CEO office, not only can you source vehicle cargo and special cargo, but you can also launch a delivery mission that will pay you $50,000 every single day in Grand Theft Auto Online by coming up to your associate right here and clicking Export Mixed Goods. Now, this mission does not take very long, and it will pay you $50,000 On your first time completing it, it will pay you $150,000 in fact. So it's a pretty good way of making some money, and it's nice to have an extra little ability to earn some money with the CEO office by being able to do this on top of sourcing CEO cargo and vehicle cargo, of course. So that's pretty much it for the CEO office and CEO cargo, and that is also it for B tier. It's time to move on to some of the better businesses in Grand Theft Auto Online in A tier, so let's go ahead and get started. Now to start off A tier, we of course have the Meth Lab. Now the Meth Lab is an MC business, and it is the second best MC business in the entire game, and it's pretty good for making a profit. As you guys can see, I've made almost $40 million with my Meth Lab, and as you guys will also be able to see, you can sell for quite a huge amount of money. Now this, again, is double money because, again, I have not sold this since the Criminal Enterprises DLC has come out, but if we half this number, it comes out to $446,000 for a full sale. Now the payouts have been increased on all of the MC businesses with the addition of the expanded and enhanced sale amounts into Grand Theft Auto Online. So for $446,000, you are going to make quite a bit of profit because the resupply is only going to cost you $75,000 times 2, so $150K, and you're going to be able to sell for $446. So you're almost making a $300,000 profit on your sale with the Meth Lab. Now sadly, the Meth Lab does not really have any unique sale missions, whereas the Weed Factory does. All of the sale missions for the Meth Lab are pretty much terrible, which does suck, and they are kind of challenging to do as a solo player. So as a result, I would only do one resupply in this business at a time and then launch your sale mission, because the chance of you getting a single vehicle is going to be a little bit higher. This goes for all of the MC businesses, but I figured that it was especially worth mentioning for Meth. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on to the next and final business of A tier. And of course, next up, we have the Coke lockup. Now, I was considering putting the Coke lockup in S tier because technically it is one of the fastest ways to make money in Grand Theft Auto Online in a semi-passive manner. A full Coke lockup will sell for $525,000. Now, the only thing that's weird about the Coke lockup is sometimes it's going to require 3 resupplies in order to make that much money, and other times it's not, which I know is kind of strange, but that's just how this business works for some reason. As you guys can see, I made almost $60 million with my Coke lockup off of 129 sales, so this is a business that you can make an absolute ton of money with, and it's super worth owning. As you guys can see, $1,050,000, if we have that, it's $525,000 regularly off of 150,000. Sometimes it will use an extra 15 grand worth of supplies, so sometimes it'll be about 165,000 for the resupplies, but you'll still make 525,000 when you do a sale mission. Now again, it's the same as the Meth Lab. If you're gonna run this business, I would recommend only doing one resupply and then selling, because you'll always get 1 or maybe 2 vehicles, so it makes it a little bit easier to run as a solo player. Anyway guys, that is of course it for A tier. It's time to move on to the best businesses in Grand Theft Auto Online in S tier. And to start off S tier, we're of course going to be talking about the Bunker. Now the Bunker is my favorite semi-passive business in Grand Theft Auto Online, a business where you have to resupply it and it will make you product and then you do a sale mission. Now the Bunker takes 2 hours and 20 minutes to turn your full resupply into no more supplies and just pure product. And off of that, you will make $135,000 profit, being able to sell for $210,000. As you guys can see, I've made almost $60 million with my Bunker, and I've done 2,035 sales, and this number is completely a lie because there's no possible way I've ever done that many sale missions. Now within the Bunker, you can also do research, and you can unlock several different things for some of the vehicles that were released with the Bunker DLC, like explosive rounds for example, as well as the thermal scope for the Heavy Sniper Mark II, and several other things like proximity mine droppers and camos. You can also choose whether your staff are all assigned to manufacturing or if they're all assigned to research, or if you want to get research and manufacturing done at the same time, you can assign to both. But once you're done researching, you just assign them to manufacturing, and then it will make you profit very quickly. Now the reason that the Bunker is ahead of the Coke lockup and the Meth Lab is because the sale missions for the Bunker are a lot more tolerable. If you do one resupply and then sell your bunker every single time, you will only ever get one delivery vehicle guaranteed. Now, the delivery vehicle that you get can range from a monster truck to a phantom wedge, so the delivery missions are generally quite easy. Now, with the Criminal Enterprises DLC, Rockstar added a new way to make money with the bunker. This operates very similar to the CEO office, where you can do a delivery every single in-game day or every 48 minutes of real time in Grand Theft Auto Online. You can deliver this dune to a randomly selected ammunition, and upon completion you'll get $150,000 for your first delivery, and for every delivery after that you will get $50,000. So it's an extra way to make some money with your bunker, and it's a pretty good way to make some money as well. It's often a very easy mission. So that's pretty much it for the bunker to start off S tier. It is a great business, and it's definitely one that I would recommend if you guys are interested. It's starting to make some semi-passive income. So that's it for the bunker. It's time to move on to the next business. The second best business in Grand Theft Auto Online is, of course, the agency. Now, the agency was added with the contract DLC back in December, and it is the second best business in the entire game by a long shot. This thing is way better than the bunker. Now, owning an agency gives you access to doing a heist, which is, of course, the contract. This will pay you $1 million upon completion, and it takes about an hour and a half to complete the heist and all the setups. But we're not really talking about heists in this video. What we're talking about is businesses, and the agency has a pretty good business aspect to it. At your computer office right here, you can sit down and you can launch security contracts. Now, security contracts in Grand Theft Auto Online are a pretty good way to make some money, and they have a special feature that goes along with them. As you guys can see, they are double money right now, so you'll get $83,500 for completing this one. Typically, you would not get that much, maybe around 40 grand. And the more contracts that you complete, as you can see, there's a counter right here, up to 201 will affect how much money you get passively into your agency safe every single in-game day. Now, payphone hits do not count as security contracts, only security contracts count. Once you get to 201 security contracts complete, you will get $20,000 every single in-game day in your agency safe without having to do anything. You don't have to keep your popularity high, you don't have to do anything except for complete the contracts. And of course, for every single contract that you complete, you will also be paid in cash as well. So this is a pretty insane way to make some money, and with these being on double money right now, it's a fantastic way to earn some money. And then when you're done, you can go to your agency safe right here, as you guys can see, pop it open, and you'll get whatever passive income that you've accumulated put into your bank account, or onto your person, I should say. And of course, the final feature with the agency is the ability to do payphone hits. Now, payphone hits can randomly spawn in on your map and are marked with a blue square with a phone in the middle of them. Or of course, if they don't pop up fast enough for you, you can call Franklin and you can request a payphone hit. Now, payphone hits will pay $85,000 upon completion, so long as they are done 100% correctly and exactly how they want them to be done. So the agency has a lot of different ways in order to make money. Some of them are more fun than others, some of them are better than others, but no matter what, they are all really, really good. So that's pretty much it for the agency. It's time to move on to the #1 business in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. And of course, at the top of S tier, we have the nightclub. Now, the nightclub is the best business in Grand Theft Auto Online by a long shot. Your nightclub can earn you income in two main ways. The first of those being the legal aspect, which is just running the nightclub and keeping the popularity maxed out. If you keep the popularity at its max point on the bar in the bottom right, you will be paid $50,000 every in-game day or every 48 minutes of real life time. And until the bar goes down twice, you will still make 50 grand a day, and when it goes down for the third time, you will still make $45,000 in the in-game day. However, after this, it dwindles off and you make less and less money. But typically, after 2 increments of popularity have gone down, when you visit your nightclub, you will have a mission pop up marked by a small blue dot on your minimap or by a small blue person, which is a VIP that you can take back to their residence because they got way too wasted at your nightclub, or the blue dot is a troublemaker. And for kicking the troublemaker out or taking the VIP home, your popularity will become maxed out again, meaning that you will make $50,000 every in-game day for another 2 in-game days. So this is actually a really good way to make money with the nightclub. In fact, this is the best way to make money with the nightclub. However, there is another aspect to the nightclub which is found in the basement, of course. Within the nightclub basement is the illegal aspect of the nightclub business. In the nightclub basement, your technicians can accrue goods completely passively, and and accumulate them until you have enough to do a sale mission. Now you can do a sale mission pretty much whenever you want with the nightclub basement. As you guys can see, I've made $85 million with my nightclub, and the majority of mine has come from my warehouse because with the expanded and enhanced edition of Grand Theft Auto Online, they changed the nightclub earnings from $10,000 every in-game day to $50,000 every in-game day. So they've increased it a ton, and the nightclub itself actually earns more money faster than the warehouse ever could. Now within your warehouse, there are a few things that you are going to have to micromanage. As you guys can see, these are the 5 technicians, and each one of them are hireable, and then you can select each one on a different sort of goods that you want to accrue. So the best ones are cargo and shipments, sporting goods, South American imports, pharmaceutical research, and cash creation. Organic produce and printing and copying rely on the weed farm and the document forgery office. Cash creation obviously relies on the ownership of the counterfeit cash factory. South American imports requires the coke. Pharmaceutical research requires the meth lab. Cargo and shipments, like I mentioned, requires the CEO cargo warehouse, not the hangar. I think the hangar also works too technically, but CEO cargo warehouses are far cheaper. So if you want to do this, get a CEO cargo warehouse. And sporting goods relies on owning the bunker. Now I never bother to actually accrue organic produce or printing and copying because I prefer to just get the ones that I have selected here and then sell all of the goods. Now you can fill these special orders for a little bit more money. I believe it's 10% more, but you're gonna have to do way more sale missions, so it's not exactly super worth it. Now the goods that are in your nightclub basement are also available to be stolen from business battles, which will happen randomly in free mode. And as part of the Criminal Enterprises DLC, you can now actually call Johan in your phone and source goods for the nightclub basement. However, the missions for this are pretty terrible and generally not very worth doing. Once you have an amount that you actually want to sell, you can simply launch the sell mission and you will take either the Speedo or the Pounder Custom or the Mule, only if you own it though. So my advice to you is don't buy the Mule as a delivery vehicle, just buy the Speedo and the Pounder Custom, or the Hauler Custom I think it's actually called. And the nightclub sale missions are very, very easy as well, so that makes them quite nice to do. So with all of this being said, the nightclub is the best business in Grand Theft Auto Online still to this day, and it's only gotten better since my last video. So there you have it guys, that has been the ultimate GTA Online business tier list in mid-2022. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it useful at all, a like is of course appreciated, if not dislike. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.